Our world is completely falling into chaos. Protests, riots, police brutality, martial law, insanity spreads. As the world slips into insanity, all the people of planet Earth are looking for a hero. As cultures clash, as cultures crash, all eyes in the world are focused on the White House and on Obama. And as all this chaos coalesces, this is what they see. You know, I'm always saying that the veil is lifting, that we're seeing more of the spiritual actually manifest here in this reality. I think this right here is a pretty good example of that. I don't know if you heard about this or not. This happened in Tennessee recently, just a few days ago. And there was a mother who was following the school bus, and she noticed that the lights are actually pentagrams on the back of the bus. And she brought this up to the school board, and she was never really given an answer why. They said, oh, well, maybe they just did it on accident, or they just kind of placed the stars in there, or whatever. But there was no real answer why. The reason why is most people probably don't know why it happened. I do believe that things like this can be examples of the spiritual manifesting here in the physical. And this isn't the only one. I've showed this in many other videos in the past as well. But oftentimes I'll show you kind of the negative things that are manifesting here in the physical. But sometimes we can see things from the other side as well. This stunning photo here was taken just a few days back, and it was actually shared with the U.S. National Weather Service. And of course, first thing they said is, it's just ice crystals. And that makes sense. I mean, that's what these organizations do, right? They're not going to sit here and try to look into the ethereal or the other side of these things. It's always the scientific explanation. But when I see something like this, it's truly miraculous. This doesn't happen all the time. Ice crystals are always there, but we're not always getting pictures like this. Think about it. And when I see things like this, I see a glimpse of the heavenlies. I see a glimpse of the realms above. I think it's beautiful. I think it gives us hope. Or when I see images like this. This happened in Iceland not long ago, and it was in the Aurora Borealis. But take a look at that image right there, and I don't think it takes a lot of imagination to see what I'm seeing. Do you ever feel like you're actually living in a science fiction movie? Some of you probably feel like you're living in a horror movie with some of the things we uncover. But I'm genuinely surprised sometimes at just how much science fiction melds into our reality. And this story right here is a case in point. Invasion of the Body Snatchers is real? Invasion of the Body Snatchers is a 1956 American film, science fiction film. It was directed by Don Siegel, and the film was actually adapted to screenplay from a novel by Jack Finney. It was a 1954 science fiction novel called The Body Snatchers. The story depicts an extraterrestrial invasion of sorts. It takes place in a small California town. It's these alien plant spores have fallen from space, and they grow into large seed pods, each one capable of reproducing a duplicate replacement copy of every human being. Now, as each pod reaches its full development, it actually assimilates the physical characteristics, the memories, and the personalities of these humans, but the human has to be sleeping somewhere near it for this to take place. And the only catch is that once these things have assimilated and they look like the person and seem to act like the person, the one catch is that they are completely and totally devoid of all human emotion. And that's pretty much the gist of these body snatcher type movies. It's interesting because at the time a lot of people had assumed that the movie was an allegory for McCarthyism, that the pods represented this creeping communism in the country. If you go back and you read some of the interviews with the actual original author, there was never anything like that intended. And once the filmmakers got a hold of it, they considered doing that, but they didn't want to go too preachy. They just wanted to make something kind of entertaining. However, this idea of this growing, creeping, unstoppable kind of hive mind has been around for a very, very long time. Somewhere deep in our human subconscious mind, this is something that connects with us. And just to show you how deeply that this whole kind of idea resonates with us, they've actually remade this film a few times. This right here is from the 1978 remake of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. This one's really scary. They remade it again in '93 with Body Snatchers, The Invasion Continues. And they remade it again in 2007 with Nicole Kidman and Daniel Craig, and this one was called The Invasion. The idea still remains that there is this force out there. It is a dark force. It is unstoppable, and it assimilates everything in its path, this hive mind. It's very much like the Borg from Star Trek. If you've ever seen this before. The Borg is the same thing. It's this group that will assimilate you or destroy you. That's your choice. You can either join or you can die. I believe that this idea of this force that assimilates good people and turns them into wicked people and all a part of one mind, I believe the reason that resonates so much with us as human beings is, again, it's a part of our history as well. I see all this stuff going back to the fallen angels and the fallen angel agenda. Some of you may have seen the movie Prometheus. The movie Prometheus is filled with mythological references and symbolism that give the movie kind of an underlying esoteric meaning. Now, Prometheus can also be viewed as a metaphor for spiritual illumination, as is portrayed by many occult secret societies. I've done a lot of other videos on this subject before. I've even used Prometheus in a few other videos. It's very important because this really is a part of that global agenda. This is all part of that New World Order agenda. It's also a part of the New World Order religion. I do believe there's a big alien deception coming upon humanity, and we're being set up for that. And it's movies like Prometheus are part of that setup. I mean, the very opening sequence of the movie shows you where they think we came from. It starts off with this humanoid alien looking type being on the earth, and he drinks this strange liquid. After drinking the liquid, the alien completely disintegrates and he falls into the water, at least what's left of him does. And once he's in the water, the DNA triggers a biogenetic reaction, and on a microscopic level, we see single cells beginning to multiply themselves. This is the movie's theory on how human life appeared on the Earth. Of course, we have the major propaganda production, Ancient Aliens, on the History Channel. Ancient Aliens is all about preparing the public for their ancient savior and or saviors. The Great Deception. And of course, it should come as no surprise that it's on the History Channel, wink wink. The mind control behind the History Channel itself is very interesting. I mean, calling itself the History Channel, automatically you're walking into this assuming that this is real history. But we find the same Illuminati symbolism on their logos as we do on so many other things in the entertainment industry that are really only set out there to deceive us. Animal Planet and History Channel, it's all the same company. And it's interesting because right here in the Animal Planet logo, you see how they hid the 13. And the 13 goes back to the 13 Illuminati bloodlines. And they really are telling you the truth here. They are telling you your history right here. But it's interesting because the History Channel itself is a mix of real occult esoteric knowledge that most people aren't even going to see coming, and then a lot of made up stuff. You know, the created history, the fabricated history. Which brings us to this very interesting story that recently came out. Is this picture a seed sent to Earth by aliens? Scientists discover mysterious organism. Check this out. This astonishing picture of an organism found in space has baffled scientists who think it's a seed sent to the Earth by aliens. The never-before-seen image shows a microscopic metal globe spewing out biological material feared to be an infectious agent. Though the origin or purpose of the mysterious sphere is uncertain, experts say it could contain genetic material, the precursor to life. They sensationally claim it could have been designed by an intelligent species to seed and propagate alien life on Earth. It is the first time anything like this has been seen and points not only to the existence of extraterrestrial life, but to complex and civilized beings watching our planet. It follows findings that DNA capable of inserting itself into living creatures and replicating can exist in harsh space conditions. The latest findings by Professor Milton Wainwright and his team from the University of Sheffield and the University of Buckingham Center for Astrobiology could actually reveal a much more sinister purpose, conjuring images as warned by H.G. Wells in his 1898 novel War of the Worlds. It could have been deliberately engineered and sent to the Earth to infect the planet. One theory is that it was sent to the Earth by some unknown civilization in order to continue seeding the planet with life. This seeming piece of science fiction, called directed panspermia, would probably not be taken seriously by any scientist were it not for the fact that it was very seriously suggested by the Nobel Prize winner of DNA fame, Sir Francis Crick. It all sounds vaguely familiar, right? The body snatchers. Here comes the hive mind. There's no stopping it. Also, that connection to the fallen angels, that connection to this alien hybridization of our species. So that's why I thought it was interesting, the connection here to the 1978 version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. You can see right here, it's almost like they did kind of a wink and a nod to that human-animal hybridization. So right here you have the Dogman. Crazy stuff, right? We really are living in a science fiction movie. Hey, thanks for watching.